Kris Kristofferson, welcome to Norway.
Thank you very much.
Tell me, why are you here?
Why am I in this room?
No, why you are supporting the Protestfestival? Why do you do that? I know you are on a tour here, but...
Well, ever since I met Sven a couple of years ago, we've kept in touch, and I support the same things that the festival does. There are few enough ways that you can help the world situation today, and any time you can take advantage of an organization like this, I think it's important to support it.
Tell me about your tour in Norway and the tour you are on right now in the world.
Well, I think we started out here the first week in Zurich, and then Austria. We've been about a different city every night. We're in Vienna, and next night in Prague, and the next night in Hamburg, and did 3 shows in Sweden, which were very good. And we got 5 here, and a couple in Scotland, 2 or 3, and 1 in the Faroe Islands, and then back home. I just, I play wherever they ask me to.
Listen, you're a grown-up man, with all due respect, and here you are with a new album and a worldwide tour. How do you cope with all these long journeys and the boring hotel rooms and the long nights?
Well, I have my family with me, and 3 of my 8 kids are here now. One of them is big enough to carry all the heavy stuff. So, and my wife does all the work that takes any brains, and so I just go out and play the guitar.
And retirement plans, they do not exist in your brain?
No. I really enjoy my work. I fought very hard to get to where I could make a living like this, and I enjoy it. And I've been doing it by myself for the last maybe 4 years, and it gives me a freedom to to go wherever anybody asks me to go without having to mobilize all the troops, and the audiences. I think because of the world situation being the way it is, the audiences are more receptive to what I'm singing about than they've ever been. So it's probably because more people have been exposed to the information about what's going on in the world.
I have read that your life goals have 4 lines. Tell the truth, sing with passion, work with laughter, love with heart. Is that right?
That's pretty good.
And but sometimes to tell the truth might have its times and sides.
Well, there are times when it's made me unmarketable because of the conservative attitude on the radios back home. But and occasionally when I remember a concert in Atlanta where I was talking about Oliver North and the Contras, and 300 people asked for their money back. So there are times when...
Did they get the money back?
Yeah, oh yeah. But like I said, the audiences are rarely angry at me anymore. Maybe it's because I'm old enough and they feel sorry for me, or they just get more tolerant. But I think the real reason is that more people have been exposed to the same information, and so they're as concerned as I am.
Listen, you are very famous, and fame has destroyed many artists. Is fame important to you, and how do you cope with fame?
It's a very ironic thing because if you're standing up in front of people, something must have driven you to get up there. You know, there must be some place that you have the need to communicate like that, because it's a very vulnerable position. I am more amazed that I chose this form of expression, you know, to get up here in front of people, because I'm fairly shy, really. I would just as soon be in the shadows back there as standing up here. But I think the thing that has probably saved me was my family, and the fact that the most important thing for me is my relationship with my wife and kids. And fortunately, I got a lot of them, so I can have a lot of fun, and they all like each other, so it's good. But fame is a double-edged sword. It allows you to be effective in a way that some people take advantage of that way, like Bono and Bob Dylan, and I think it brings a responsibility, you know, to use it in a way that is helpful to the causes you believe in, and it's something you should be grateful for. But I hate to sign autographs. I really do.
Listen, you're a real activist, and you've been that all your life. Why this urge to fight for human rights and justice? Where does it stem from? Where does it come from?
I think it probably got from my parents, you know, from my father, but I've always felt that if you are blessed with the opportunity to do good, like if I can move people's hearts in the right direction and make their heads follow, then I have a responsibility to do that, because a lot of people don't have that opportunity. And I think you use whatever tools you were given. You know, mine happened to be songwriting, and some others are better at organizing things than I am, or public speaking.
Originally, you were a prose writer who was supposed to teach English literature at West Point. How did you end up a country legend?
Well, I decided I never really wanted to stay in the Army, and I might have stayed in if I had been sent to Vietnam when I volunteered to go over there. But my next assignment was to teach English literature at West Point at the academy, and I never wanted to be a teacher of literature, really. I was lucky enough to go to Nashville when I was on leave after I'd spent 3 years in Germany in the Army. I spent a couple of weeks in Nashville and fell in love with the music community there, and it was so creative and exciting for me that I decided to chuck everything else and try to make it there. And it was pretty hard on my family, but I loved it. It was wonderful.
This story I've read that you worked as a janitor for Columbia Records, cleaning the ashtrays and garbage for Bob Dylan and Johnny Cash. Yes. Is that a true story?
Absolutely the truth, yeah.
Tell me about it.
Well, my friend Billy Swan worked there before I did, and he asked me if I wanted to go be, they called it the studio setup man. And when I convinced him that I was serious about working there. They thought I was overqualified because to go in because of my college background or whatever. But it was a wonderful job for me because I was in contact with music and musicians, and I was the only songwriter in Nashville who was allowed to be at Bob Dylan's session. There were police around the whole place keeping people out, and it was a wonderful time for me. After that, I still wasn't selling songs, so I worked for a while as a bartender, and about 2 years I worked every other week in the Gulf of Mexico on flying helicopters to the offshore oil rigs. And then finally they started recording my songs.
I've heard this amazing story that you tried to sell or pitch your songs to Johnny Cash, and it's a special story where you finally got his attention. Can you tell that story?
Well, it's a little bit slanted. You're talking about landing a helicopter.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's true. I had known John for a couple of years there at the studio where I worked, and I had given him every song I ever wrote through his wife June or his guitar player Luther Perkins. And but he hadn't recorded any of them. He had said he liked them, and he had encouraged me, but he never recorded them. So I was in the National Guard for a couple of weeks. That's kind of the weekend warriors in Tennessee. But I needed the money because I was going to be a father again. So I had a helicopter and I landed it on his lawn and took him a song. And fortunately, he didn't shoot me out of the sky. I've come to regret doing it though, because everybody thinks that if I would invade his privacy that much, that no invasion of my privacy could ever match that, and so they can do anything they want to me.
On to politics. How come your countrymen elect such stupid presidents? The one you have right now was even re-elected.
Well, there are those who would say he wasn't elected either time, but it's pretty embarrassing that it's even close enough to steal. But we have a history of electing stupid people. We elected Ronald Reagan twice, and we practically put his name on Mount Rushmore. You know, his face up there. George Bush is just the hood ornament on the machine. You know, unfortunately, the people who are driving it are going to take us off a cliff, I'm afraid. They got the whole neoconservative ideologues who are behind whatever we're doing right now around the world, particularly in the Middle East, have very selfish aims and selfish goals, and God knows why Cheney needs any more money. They gave him $20 million when he quit Halliburton to be vice president, you know, and so now he just gives all those war contracts to Halliburton. But none of the people who are making those decisions today ever served in the military and have any idea of the cost of what they're doing, you know, in terms of human lives, and none of their children will go, and it's pretty embarrassing for an American. Yeah.
In Norway, people criticizing the U.S. foreign policy sometimes are classified as anti-Americans. Is that fair?
Well, they call me the same thing. I don't know. Is that fair? I don't feel like I'm anti-American. You know, I'm anti-certain Americans. I don't think a whole lot of anybody in the present administration. You know, I don't think we've had anybody since Kennedy who has really offered a realistic vision of peaceful coexistence with the other people in the world. And unfortunately, the people who had this vision of peace were all killed. You know, both Kennedys and Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, and it's a very dangerous job, I guess.
Do you think United States is ready for a female president?
It's hard for me to say what the United States is ready for at all. After the last couple of elections, I find that very depressing. That I would hope that they could elect a female president if it were Hillary Clinton. I would hope they would elect a black president. You know, Barack Obama. He's the one who talks the most like the Kennedys. Most people, even Hillary Clinton, don't even talk that way anymore. They don't, let alone think that way. And I would like to believe that enough Americans could get behind the same kind of things that Bobby Kennedy was saying and Jack Kennedy was saying about our obligations to the rest of the people in the world and our ability to coexist with them. You know, I remember Kennedy a couple of months before he was killed saying, you know, although the Russian government and the Russian way of looking at government is abhorrent to us, he said there's so many things that we can admire in the Russian character and in the history and the art, and they don't talk that way anymore.
President Bush has said that his mission in Iraq and fighting the so-called axis of evil is a mandate from God. Many people in the US believe this.
People have been killing, you know, people in the name of God for a long time. Probably more in our hemisphere than yours, but you know, they wiped out all the Indians and the. But I have a hard time believing that anybody believes in anything but money in the present administration, and that if they're not in there for the oil, I have no idea what they're in there for, because I know they don't give a damn about whether those Iraqis go to hell or not.
May I ask you this personal question? Are you personally a religious man?
I don't go to church. I've never been very involved in organized religion, but I would like to think that I am a spiritual man. Yeah, I know that the way I talk around the house that would make my kids laugh, but I I think I believe in the responsibility of humans to live up to something more than themselves, and whether that's a belief in God or just a higher power, I'm not sure.
You've always been very outspoken about politics in your songs. In one song you refer to a billion-dollar bombing of a nation on its knees. Another asks, am I young enough to believe in revolution? Are you?
I guess if I asked the question, I might be. You know.
Do you think a song, your songs, can make a difference, change the world?
My wife says I'm changing them 1,000 at a time. But no, I think everybody's contribution can make a difference. You know, I think that if Bruce Springsteen or Bob Dylan or I am singing about things that make people, move people in the right direction, that it's good, you know, and that we have a chance of making a difference. if I didn't think I made any difference at all, I'm not sure that I'd still keep going out. You know,
I don't know about your recording company, but I think you can say a few bad things about commercialism and recording companies. Have someone tried to ban your songs, or try to change your songs, or try to get some of your songs away from the next record?
Not the present thing. I know one company found me unmarketable back when I did Third World Warrior and Repossessed. They dropped me off the label because they couldn't market me in the market that they were.
What do you mean dropped you?
I no longer work for them.
That's but you wrote verses like, "And I'll say until the day we free Mandela." Yeah, they
I
didn't like that.
I got to sing that for Mandela once.
Yeah,
It was
you
great.
should.
It was great because they did free Mandela. You know, it was. I'm sure that song didn't do it because nobody ever bought those records.
Do you do you believe your outspokenness has cost you record deals or opportunities?
God, I have no idea. I feel like I'm pretty lucky to be where I am today, that I can be making a living at what I'm doing. I'm not. I don't sell a whole lot of records, you know, but I think that I feel very lucky where I am. I don't feel like I should be doing any better than I am.
You've made like 25 records and more than 40 movies. What do you like best, being an actor or being a singer?
Well, I like them both. And each one at different times has supported me. You know, so there was times when the movies paid for my band when I was not making any money in the records. But probably the thing that closest to my soul is the songwriting. And I would, if I had to just pick one, that would be it. I'd be performing my songs.
Are you tired of talking about your most famous song?
I'm kind of tired of talking about me. Which famous song?
No, you and Bobby McGee, it has been said that this song has been made in 435 different versions. Do you have a favorite version?
Oh boy, I have a couple. I think because of my relationship with Janis Joplin, you know, that's right up there at the top. I loved it when Roger Miller did it because he was my hero at the time. Jerry Lee Lewis cut a great version of it. I love that. So I didn't know that 400 had been there. But if I had to pick one song that I'm proud of, or I'm glad I had, that would probably be it, because it made the biggest difference in my life. Got more attention, I think, than anybody else.
I know how old you are, but you look much younger. How come?
I don't look much younger to me.
You practice, you drink little?
I have a glass or two of wine at night, and I run in the morning, and I got the main thing is, I think it's probably my family that I'm very happy with, and my father's DNA. You know, he looked pretty young.
By the way, your father's DNA, the name Kristofferson, do you have Norwegian ancestors?
Swedish.
Yeah. Oh, damn it.
Yeah.
Kris, what have you achieved in life? What are you really proud of?
I'm proud that I've had a loving relationship with my wife and my kids, and that I've been able to feel like a creative person for most of my life, and that's what I set out to be, and that's probably what I'm proudest of.
Are you ashamed of something?
Nah. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of things I'm ashamed of, but nothing serious, you know, that I would be embarrassed about. A lot of my behavior got me in some embarrassing positions, but from where I am right now, I feel so lucky to be where I am. I would be afraid to change anything because I might not have ended up here. And I like where I am now.
Are you afraid of death?
No, it doesn't delight me. I've lost enough close friends, you know, that I'm pretty used to the idea by now. I wouldn't say I was afraid of it. No, I don't look forward to it. I'm having a good time. So.
Thank you so much, and good luck with your tour. And we are happy now to hear 2 songs from you.
Okay.
Thank you, Kris.
Thank you. Thank you.